pay the price for a short period of time so you can pay any price you want for anything.
This is the Gem Podcast, and this is Kwok.
Yo, we are back with another episode of the Gem Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. He's CEO of 7 different privately held companies, manages over $1.7 billion worth of real estate, #1 sales and marketing trainer in the world, creator of the 10X movement, best-selling author, family man, and Scientologist. Please welcome Grant Cardone.
Appreciate it, brother. I'm just jamming and ramming, and appreciate being on your podcast.
Thank you for coming on, man. So for those who might not know your story, take us back, before you became successful, before you became Grant Cardone, tell us a little bit about your childhood and your upbringing.
Yeah, so I had a pretty rough start to life. My dad died when I was 10. My mother died when I was 20. Resulted in me making some really poor choices. And on top of that, I think the thing that everybody else can relate to is that I was extremely bored in school. It was slow. It was I felt like a prisoner there. I hated it. School was very easy for me. For whatever reason, it was just easy. It was I didn't really need to apply myself much to get through it. I could somehow get a C or a B or C on anything. And I just didn't want to be there, right? So add the losses, the boredom. I started doing crazy stuff. That's what I think people do when they're bored. They look to be entertained. There was no mentor or guidance in my life. So I started making choices that were not good for me. And I didn't have baseball or football or tennis, or I didn't have any of those going for me. So I just made some bad choices. And by the time I was 20, by the time I was 17, I was a drug addict. I was broke at 23, broke at 25, had my head crashed in when I was 23 years old, 79 stitches put in my head and face with a gun. I was beat up in a bad situation. Turned my life around I started turning my life around when I was 25. And for the last decades, I've been working on improving myself every day, a little bit.
You bounced back from a drug addiction, and I know a lot about your story because I've gone through your books. I love your book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. That really resonated with me. As someone who's come back from drug addiction, what would you say to someone who has an addiction that's not helping them? A lot of people are addicted to drugs, they're addicted to video games or porn or Netflix or something. What would you say to that person to snap them out of it and
I would say
get on the right path?
Yeah, dude, I would say, what they told me treatment was that I had an affliction and that I had a disease. And what I would tell people that you have a gift, not a disease. You want the of addiction. The ability to be addicted and obsessed with something is a desirable trait. Now you just got to direct it. Putting poisons in your body, however you justify. You enjoy it. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel more courageous, blah, 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 whatever you want. Fine. It's not a moral issue for me. You want to smoke weed? Not a moral issue for me. For me, it's the issue of where do I want to focus my energy, my intentionality, and spend my time? I've never heard anybody say, hey, them doing drugs or alcohol or pornography or gambling improve their life. I want to be Steve Wynn, dude. I want to own the casino. I don't want to be playing the hand. You notice how many people know how to play blackjack correctly? I know how to play blackjack. I know how to hit a 16. I know how to hit 16. I know how to hit 13. I know what to do with a whatever, right? I can count cards. Good, man. Take all that energy and figure out how to buy a casino. Much better position to be in. Rather than reading porn, once you figure out how to pay a penny on all the traffic that goes, it's where all you got to do is tweak the energy of the addict. And so that's what I talk about, be obsessed or be average. I'm look, the people that are great on this planet were all obsessed. They all had that addictive characteristic or quality. So I would just tell people, embrace it as a gift, stop the destructive behavior, and just don't try to not be an addict. Try to shift it to just move over in the lane a little bit.
Right, channeling your energy in the right way.
Yeah, don't try to put every time you try to put a cap on that much energy, it's gonna come out in a weird way, and it's gonna squirt all over the place, and it's not gonna be good. And so it ends up being anger or rage, or all these kids that are looting right now. I understand the looting so well. If I was 17 years old today in Seattle or Dallas or Atlanta and that stuff was going on, If I was the old 17-year-old Grant, Seattle would have been burnt to the ground. It wouldn't have been a calm deal where they were doing that little thing in the neighborhood weekend. I would have burnt the entire downtown to the ground and wouldn't have been satisfied. And so when I saw those kids in New York City, I called my twin brother. I said, dude, you see New York going off right now? Macy's has got more foot traffic than they have had in 5 years. And the guys were looting that thing. It's at Macy's, their flagship store. I said, Macy's has got traffic. My twin brother, we're 62 years old. He says to me, he's like, you know, if you and I were 17 years old in New York City tonight, we wouldn't be satisfied with looting the store. We'd burn the store. And I said, 100%. Because that's the kind of energy I had. You know, I was bored. I wanted action. And those are not bad things. I played games 3 and 4 and 5 hours a day. Smoked weed. I was popping pills. If you brought me over to your grandmother's house, I would raid her medicine cabinet. Today, I'll end up building a $12 billion, $15 billion company here. We'll raise $3 billion in the next 3 years using crowdfunding, social media, without going to banks. I'll go directly to Instagram and Facebook. So, you know, I've come a long way by redirecting the energy.
One thing I really respect about you, Grant, is that you've also structured your life in a way where you not only fulfill like your mission and purpose, but you still manage to balance that like with family and like having a real life, you know, outside of your work. Like, how have you managed to do that? I've always been really curious. Like, how did you like design like your lifestyle where you could integrate that, and like how did you make that possible?
Well, I'm gonna give you the unpopular answer. The life balance thing that everybody seeks, it requires money. And this is not meant to be entitled or I will raise my hand right now and say I'm privileged. I am a privileged. I don't know why everybody's fighting the privilege thing. I am privileged. You know, number one, I live in America. Me being white probably gives me some advantages. I have no clue that if you're Asian, Hispanic, or Black, if that gives you some disadvantage. I don't know, because I'm not that. Now, whatever pigment, I have some privileges. I made it through high school. I went to college. If you can be successful and an American, like, you get more privileges. The fact that I own a Gulfstream 550, guess what? I don't have to fly. I'm privileged. I don't have to fly to Miami Airport or get off my plane, get on my plane. I don't have anybody stopping me. I don't have to take my shoes off. To the life balance thing, I have never saw balance. I believe that one of the tricks is not to try to figure out how you balance something. A tire is perfectly balanced when it's filled. And so the 10X rule, I wrote a book called the 10X rule in 2010. And that book was about, I'm going to fill up my life. I'm going to take everything that I'm interested in, fill it up so much that it's going to balance the wheel of my life out. And rather than me trying to puff into one side, I'm going to spend family time, I'm going to spend workout time. Look, I want to 10X every area of my life. I want to have a life, dude. I'm not trying to be a worker. I'm not trying to be a rich guy. I'm trying to have a life. I'm never seeking work that I'm proud of, not one that makes you proud. Okay, I don't buy things to impress you. I want to be impressed with me. I tried impressing other people. It just never worked. Everybody said, man, Cardone's going to burn out, man. Cardone's going to burn out. I've been told that since I was 26 years old, okay? I'm not going to burn out. This is when I burn out. I burn out because you can't have the life balance conversation without having the burnout conversation. You want to enjoy your life when you got enough money to enjoy your life. And you're not going to enjoy it if you're constantly worried about money. The people in life says money doesn't matter. You know when he said it? Dude, he was rich. All the rich guys say this once they're rich. But if you get Steve Jobs when he was 23 years old, the guy was a maniac. I deserve life balance at 2 years old when my life is fucked up. Don't know where I'm going. Haven't paid the price yet. So blow a lot of air until the tire's full. It will self-correct itself until it's completely round. The air will go to another direction. I just want to fill my life up. I want to fill that life up with, maybe it's just work in the beginning. And then once that overfills, it should start filling to charity, love, family. And I got to be clear what I'm doing. Like, I think a lot of people, they say, well, I'm going to pursue what I'm passionate about. Those things that will fund the lifestyle I want. Okay. I think doing your passions, passionate about me having the life I want, not about some industry. Oh, I love art and I love expressing my canvas and or music, or create the life you want, man. Your life is a canvas. And I don't want a job. I don't want a career. I don't want a title. I don't want nice stuff. I don't want just the watch. I want a life. You know, if I got a nice watch and no place to go, I got a nice wife, a great wife, and nobody to share her with. You know, I have a plane, but I don't have any place to travel to. Look, none of that's any fun. It's vacant.
Yeah, no, I always tell people like my audience and everything, like get like your finances in order, and because it'll help like every other aspect of your life. Like I personally right now, like I'm helping to like teach people how to like achieve financial freedom. But like, yeah, like if you don't have the money aspect handled, you'll always be thinking about it. Like I know for me, like when I didn't have money, like I would always be thinking about it. Like whenever I traveled somewhere, I'd be like, oh damn, like I can't afford this, I can't pay for this. Like, oh, like I'd always look for like the cheapest like deals, and like, you know, I would always be thinking about money while I'm like trying to have fun, you know?
Yeah. You know, that's a good, everybody's like, oh, money won't, but it'll buy a hotel room. Okay, that's what it does. And if you're worried, and most people are not honest about the money, like you're very honest. People don't understand how much of their time they're spending worried about what they're spending. It's based on whether the breakfast is free or whether they got points to stay there. Like it's such a slavery mechanism. What you need to do is be able to go where you want, because you're not going to remember your points when you die. You're going to remember the experiences you had. Then the other side of that is the people that are trying to buy Richards before they can actually afford a Richard. Or they're trying to stay at the Ritz before they should because they want pictures on Instagram. They're trying to please people they don't know, money they don't yet have, because they haven't done the things they need to yet do.
Yeah, no, a lot of like young entrepreneurs right now, like a lot of my audience is like young entrepreneurs. Like I see people that like, you know, can't afford the Lamborghini, but they rent out a Lamborghini, and like they live in like the fancy LA, like $6K a month place, and they're barely scraping by. They might be making like, you know, like that $10K a month or whatever, and then they can barely afford it, and they have nothing saved up, nothing to reinvest back into the business.
I know immediately when a guy's rolling up in the rolls, I'm like, okay, he's a pretender. He's not a baller. And I immediately I would have much more respect if you rolled up a W 323 than a Rolls and you're 26. Look, and there's nothing wrong with having nice stuff. You're flying private. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not real. Look, I didn't fly private till I was 50. Doesn't mean you need to wait until you're 50. I'm just saying. And by the way, when I flew private, the first time I flew private, it was on my own plane.
Yeah, because like of like social media and everyone wanting to like project themselves as better than they who actually are. Like I can see why people like fall into that. Like especially me, I'm pretty young. Like I'm 23 years old, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'll say that I fell into that when I first started doing entrepreneurship. And when I first started getting like a little bit of success, I wanted to make myself seem like I was bigger than I was, you know, online and on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, it's not necessary. It's not. And to the real guys, you know, they know the people that you want to impress will know. They'll know the truth. You know, they'll know. Oh, he's sharing a plane with 8 other people. That's not private, by the way. You're like, oh, I'm flying private today. There's 12 other people. Okay, that's sharing. No problem. I'm just saying, like, man, reinvest that money in your business, in your brand, in your advertising, getting people to know you.
I always tell people that, like for me, like the past, like I've been in entrepreneurship for only like 2-3 years, and my bank account has never really gone up. Like, because I always like keep pumping the money back into the business, you know, like I do Amazon, and like I pump into more inventory, like I hire more people, you know, like I just reinvest everything. And and people are like, oh, you're crazy, you should save up, like you should keep some money in the bank, you know. And I'm like, nah, like it's not making me anything. Like I loved your principle, like cash is trash. Like I really resonate with that. And it's true.
Yeah, so this idea that we should save money in the bank, it's an old idea. You know, get reserves, you know, you're going to need money in the future, you know, you need to put it away for whatever, you know. No, actually what you need to do is reinvest in yourself. Why would you invest your money in a bank that you don't even have shares in? But this is the problem in this country. We have been educated. We have been brainwashed is a better word. We have been brainwashed to serve masters. The banks, education system is a $900 billion scam a year. $900 billion a year is taken from taxpayers to fund schools that don't work. And nobody would say they work. They're like, there's nobody, not even the people in the schools say, oh yeah, we got a great product here. You know, you spend 12 years to do what? 12 years to learn how to count? That whole process should be 5 or tax. But then it wouldn't raise as much money from the taxpayers. You know, right now there's this movement to defund the police. What we should do is defund the damn IRS.
I like it. Not like we could talk about like the whole like education like topic for a while, but yeah, like I don't know like what your sense like is on college, but I believe that like people don't really need college to be successful, and it's always been a controversial opinion, right? Because like, you know, I mean, I went to college, so I can actually speak from experience. You know, I'm not one of the entrepreneurs who dropped out or never went to college. Like I actually went to college. I spent like four and a half years in college, and I will say that I didn't really learn anything. Like almost nothing I learned in college. Like all I really did was have fun and like meet people and like work on my social skills. Like that's about it, you know?
So you're someone that can speak to it because you went and you finished. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of people. I got a buddy of mine wants to tell his kid to go to college. I'm like, why would you tell your kid to go to college? It'll make you better. How would you know you didn't go? I borrowed money to go there. I went through the classes. I know what goes on there. Okay. Now, if you're going to go to Harvard, meet the Obamas, now go to college. But you're not going to learn. You're going to meet. You're going to hook up.
Right.
And there's so many guys today, so many people, they think going to college, higher education is something to do. We've been brainwashed again, okay, with fake information. To support this, we have been told, hey, that's the way to learn, but join a mentor program or go to a class online that costs $2,000 and people are like, that's a scam. No, dude, the scam is the 8 years that people are spending. 6 years. I think 46% of kids are still in college at 6 years and hadn't finished yet. 60% are there at 4 years and haven't finished. The dropout rate is massive, but most importantly, the time spent and the speed at which we're moving today in society with AI, technology, social, like just goes on and on, right? Automation, the speed at which things are now. The fact that I would read a book that was written in 1990 about business, economics, technology, anything, almost all that is antiquated already. I don't even buy apartment buildings that are that old.
Like the information that you're getting is like outdated. Like by the time like they've created it and put in a textbook for you to look at it, it's already almost useless.
It's useless, right? So imagine if we were talking about using Instagram robots right now to market products. We raised $112 million on Instagram and Facebook using bots. No fees, no broker, no middleman. Every day people can invest with me in apartment deals I'm doing without me going to TV, radio, newspaper, all the old media. These didn't exist they didn't exist 5 years ago. So the word crowdfunding did not exist in 2008. So it's a different game.
Like I want to shift the topic now a little bit. Like what has it meant like for your life become successful? Like do you feel like you're currently like living up to your potential? Like you've achieved a lot in your life. Like you have the freedom to like pretty much do anything. Like is your goal now it's like to create like an impact, like a legacy or something else? Like what drives you every single day?
You know, number one, it feels great, but I don't feel like I've achieved, my potential. And for me, success is merely not a number. It is the achievement of is seeking of a potential to what is my potential. I'm the only one that knows that. My wife doesn't know what my potential is. She believes in me. The people around me believe in me, but I'm the one that knows whether I've done everything I can. What else? How else can I contribute? How else can I make a difference? And so it feels great to be successful, man. A lot better than being a failure. I've done them both, by the way. I have experience. I have personal experience doing both of them. As a leader, as a father, as a husband, my job is to go out into the marketplace every day. My job is to make whatever I'm doing work, regardless of how hard it is. My job is to come home and tell my family, hey, I made it work. I took a round peg and jammed it into a square box, or I took a square and jammed it into a round peg, and I just stayed at it until it fit. So my job is not to gripe, protest, bitch, make excuses. My job is to make sure I don't burn something. I already burnt stuff down when I was a kid, man, okay? My job is to leave a legacy, not loot, is to be an example and to be a good example, right? Because people love success, man. Everybody will feel better if I list these names out. Oprah, LeBron, Kanye, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. Success is a beacon of inspiration. And that, by the way, is a spiritual, it's a deposit bank account. Not the Bank of America, but the Bank of Cardone. And nobody can take that away from me. You could take all my money away from me. You could take every penny I have, and I would still not be broke.
Like, I know your main thing is real estate. Like, would you recommend like people to invest in anything besides real estate or only real estate?
I mean, look, I'll say it's my game, right? So I know that game. I understand it. I know I won't lose money there. I'm like 99.99% confident I'll never lose money in a deal that I buy. I want to lose money. I don't like losing money. I know that game. I like cash flow. I like appreciation. I like depreciation, and I like leverage. You know, the thing you don't get with stocks and Bitcoin is you can't beat the IRS. With real estate, beat the shit out of those guys. I hate the IRS. I mean, you could title this Grant Cardone hates the IRS. And here's why. Most presidents don't want to show it's like why Trump doesn't want to show his tax returns. Nobody's going to understand them. You know, now I would love stocks if I was a fund manager, but I don't like being in the casino. I know the casino's stacked against me. You got Robinhood right now. I think you had like 13 million subscribers in the last 3 weeks or something.
It's the new gambling.
It's gambling, bro. It's gambling. Okay. Schwab is now coming out with you can buy Apple, Facebook, you can buy all these stocks, Netflix for a fraction. You can buy fractions of stock now, not ETFs, but fractions. It's a casino. I know. I've been around long enough to know when they're hoodwinked public. And that game is real. So I like real estate. Now, I should tell everybody I own Bitcoin. And also, I would buy stocks if there was an entry on a handful of great companies that I know I could own that will still be around 10, 15, 20 years from now. Most of those companies will cease to exist over the next 20 years.
What are those companies? What would you say will still be here?
You know, they're the companies with great balance sheets, right? Difficult to destroy Apple and Google, Amazon. Amazon will get broken up. They're not going to allow it to continue to get that big. They'll break up the company, which is not a bad thing, by the way. But I was growing up, dude, it was AT&T. Look, nobody even talks about the AT&T. AT&T stock has been shit for years. General Electric, huge company when I was growing up. All the people on TV, CNBC, all they're going to do is report the winner. All they're doing is telling you about the big fish they caught. It's like the casino, bro. No one around the casino says, I fucking got my head handed to me tonight. They walk out, oh yeah, I did all right. Nope, everybody tells you, never comes back from Vegas and says, first thing they do is call you, I lost 28 grand.
Yeah, no, like everyone's like following like these, like, the green stocks, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy the green stocks, and then like, you know, like the big money, like the smart money, like kind of like pumps it up a bit, you know, a little more, and then they just dump it, and then just this has been happening the past week. Like these stocks go up like 1,000%, and then they just drop back down like to what it was.
See, I had a buddy, and this is what he did all day long. Okay, I mean, I got a bunch looking at all the time, right? But what do I see on there? Red and green. My real estate portfolio, it doesn't have red and green. Okay. It's an asset. So let's say that $112 million I raised. Okay. I bought the deal. I bought $360 million worth of real estate, 1/3 of $1 billion worth of real estate with $100 million. You can't do that with stocks. Okay. Like you cannot take that kind of position. Also, I was able to do that because I'm not worried about that $360 million going down in value. I'm not making a bet here. Okay. My bet is over time, that $360 million, if they're in good location, will be worth $500 million in the future. And that's the play there. I need that property to go from 360 to 500 million, those 4 properties over the next 10 years for me to double my money. And I'll get a double. The 112 will double. I'll pick up 200 million, and I'll be paid 70 million, 10 years, 70 million to wait for the double. So I'll be paid 70 million in cash flow that I don't pay taxes on. I'll earn 70 million tax-free deferred income. That's why I love the real estate game so much. It gives me the tax advantages, the leverage. You can't get stocks. It gives me the appreciation and the depreciation.
That's incredible. Like right now, like I don't really have like I haven't really invested too much into learning about real estate. Like I've just been like reinvesting back into my business, like like the thing that I know the most about, right? But like I do want to like get into real estate, and I know a lot of people listening to this. I had a lot of questions asking me to ask you about real estate, but like if someone like wanted to get into like their like real estate, the first deal, like how much capital would you recommend? Like to someone to start with to get into real estate?
I did my first deal with $3,000. A 4-unit deal with $5,000 or $10,000. The issue is whether or not it's the right. I don't know that. Like in every city in America, there's a piece of real estate on some street corner, 4 units, 8 units, 12 units. Every person in America, if you got 2,000 people watching this, all 2,000 could go out and make $1 million on a piece of real estate. It's not even hard. So you just got to buy the right piece of real estate in a good neighborhood that's growing, okay, that will cash flow, that you can keep, that you don't lose in a cycle. You got to start in your neighborhood. So like on your first deal, you could buy, in California, things are so expensive there now, though. It's going to be about $800,000 to buy a 4-unit deal. It's going to take you probably 5% of the down payment purchase price. So that's $1,000 to buy it's going to probably be $1,500 a month. You're going to make a little bit of cash flow, and then you're going to wait over the next 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Hopefully that value goes up with the rents, and then you're going to make some money when you sell it.
Yeah, like you say to invest in indestructible real estate, like the mid-tier, $1,500 a month. Like, is that the only type that you would recommend people invest in? Or like you said, you invest in?
It's the only thing I do. So I would recommend people follow somebody, learn from somebody that's been successful buying, not somebody that's been successful teaching real estate. Big difference. That's like college, because you were listening to somebody that could facilitate a book, but they probably couldn't activate the book in real life. So like we do real estate courses here. We had 70,000 people showed up for a real estate mentor course that I did. We're actually going to hold it again because so many people missed it. And you should make money on every deal you do, and study somebody that's doing deals, not talking about deals they did 5 or 7 years ago. I do deals like I bought almost $1 billion worth of real estate last year. Find somebody to teach you, and then that's who you study, dude. Study everything. If you want to learn real estate, I'm the best at the game. If you want to do it, dude, just grab my program. I'll get you the program.
Sounds good.
And just get into it. I'll tell you every trick. You never have to invest in me after you get the program. And then I'll show you every little angle that I use. I would recommend places where they have, number one, positive migration patterns, and they don't have that in LA. You got people leaving LA right now. I would suggest Arizona, Utah, probably Washington might not be bad. Texas, Florida is going to be great. Alabama is going to be awesome. The Carolinas is going to be good for years. Those are great states. Nashville, Tennessee.
I mean, like I'm very flexible about where I live, because I'm quote unquote like a digital nomad. Like I can just pick up and move wherever I want. Like I literally have like 2 bags. I have like a backpack and a duffel bag, and I can go anywhere in the world.
Then you're the kind of guy that could go into markets and research them and buy stuff. There's going to be a lot of deals left because of the shutdown. There's going to be deals all over the world. You can go to Singapore and probably buy some real estate. I don't know that I'd do it in Cancun.
Yeah, no, definitely not right now. Like, what's your take on like whole like coronavirus situation? Like a lot of people are saying now, like it's like kind of like, like I didn't really follow it too much because I just like to focus on my work, and maybe you are the same way. But like,
I think the whole thing's a big scam, but
right?
Maybe we'll find out it was. I don't know. I think the whole thing is a big distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like everyone's been getting like so distracted with like like I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. And like it shouldn't have happened or something, like the protests and like, like wearing masks and everything. But I feel like it's distracting everybody from like focusing on their own life. For the people listening, like if you give like one last piece of advice, like 20, 30 seconds, like, last thing you would ever say, like, what would you say to those people?
Success is important. Okay. Put all your time and energy into to more about success than partying, girls, guys, dude. Just put for the next 4 or 5 years on one thing. Getting great at something. Just put your attention for 4 or 5 years. Pay the price for a short period of time so you can pay any price you want for anything in the future.
Incredible. Yeah. How can people get in touch with you, Grant?
CardoneCapital.com. That's our website for real estate. GrantCardone.com. If you guys want to join our the real estate program is free. It's grantcardone.com/REI. grantcardone.com/REI. That'll be in 2 Saturdays from right now. I think it's the 27th. It's completely free. And we show it one time. You get one shot to watch it. It's that day. If people join and see it, it's not recorded. You got to be there to see it. And I'll walk through a 4-unit deal, an 8-unit deal, and a bunch of different places. I'll show you how to get 8 returns out of one deal in 1 year.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for coming on, Grant.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
This is the Gem Podcast, and this is Gav Kwok.